A little bit of context on Philips Lighting, 7 billion turnover 2016, 34,000 employees in around 60 countries, so that gives you kind of like the scoping of where we working. Then, the context of our quality system and our process framework. We have, this is our process framework, and don't worry about the content too much. I will show in the next slide a little bit more detail on what we do there, but it has about 300 processes in its core, and the next level down, the level 4 activities, about 1600, and they're all end-to-end processes connected through our BPM tooling, and within 2 years we actually published 95% of that throughout the full organization and deployed about 60%, where we are now. You can imagine deployment being much tougher than publication and actually driving the adherence. So we basically did that with a network of 12 business process owners who then worked with business process experts and business process managers who then actually worked on the design and the delivery and the deployment of the standardized processes. And that's supported by a small core team, which is my team, which actually only at this point is one process architect to support the business process owners in the architecture, one person to manage the change requests, it's a virtual change request process, and one for system administration, basically, the management of the core system. And this altogether is our one quality system. And I think that's one of the strengths that we have created at this moment. It's not a separate process framework, it's not a separate quality system. We have deployed the whole as a totality as one quality system, one portal where all quality related documents and diagrams live together as a single source of reference. And because we started out with that vision, that really helped us to create our change journey. Let me see. Yeah, so this is a little video that we call our super short tutorials that we used in our change journey to bring our message to our 34,000 people who actually get engaged with the quality system. They're 3-minute videos. We also have videos that show how to read a diagram and how to find your documents and stuff like that. And this one I want to share with you, so I don't have to explain it. exactly 3 minutes, so all our super short tutorials have to fit within that 3-minute framework. So that's kind of like our checks and balances. And what's important in this is that, especially people who are not familiar with diagrams and process framework, we really try to get to the core really fast, so they can understand what it's about. And it also helps explain the use of standards. And I'll come back to that a little bit later on when I talk about leadership. So this is our journey. And in our journey, we basically followed the standard Kotter approach. We started with a great momentum in our organization, great leadership, with great guidance on what we were supposed to do, a sense of urgency. We then formed a very small governance team that was fully empowered to drive the journey. With that team, we developed vision, and then we set up our practice. Because when we started in June 2015, there was no BPM practice, there were no BPOs, BPEs, there was no organization, there was very little to work with. So we had to set that up in a very short time frame. Then 2016, 2017 was really based on design and improve and validate and deploy the processes, which we're now at a point that we're really starting to drive the continuous improvement structurally, and looking forward to tools like process mining and stuff like that. And I must say I was a little bit intimidated on a personal note by the last 2-3 days, where I saw all these great business cases about these excellence practices that have fully integrated their process and their excellence practice and their digital vision and strategy, and have that all working with robotics. And so that was very impressive to me. But I think that in this journey we have created a great starting point that we can actually accelerate this journey, also using the future tooling, and all within our vision to be a process thinking organization in 2018. So the key success factors that I want to share with you are momentum and leadership, a small empowered governance team that actually really helped drive this whole thing, our one quality system, which is really an asset to drive it towards 34,000 people, and the fact that in that journey, we continuously kept engaging the different parties and stakeholders to work together towards this common goal. In terms of momentum and leadership, I think we had a couple of things really going for us. If you look at the momentum, in 2016 it was announced that we would become a standalone company. This gave a lot of energy for change. It gave a lot of drive to throughout the whole company. People got the sense that we wanted to become better, more innovative. I also compare it to feeling like a 17, 18-year-old kid that goes out of the house for the first time, and you have this great sense of freedom, and also you want to show the world what you can do, right? That's the energy that went through the organization, which was a great momentum to start from. There was also a great sense of urgency. We knew that we were in a landscape that with IoT would change rapidly. We had to change. We had to adapt very fast to the market demands. We knew we had to increase our performance, improve our performance really fast. And we knew that we had a very social media empowered customer base, right? So all these kinds of sense of urgency really went through the organization. And we actually used, in order to onboard our first promoters and our first business process experts to join, why are we joining this, what are we doing, right? Why is this important for us? We actually used a PEX video that was from 2015, which really showed the sense of urgency. And we kind of changed that. I'm not going to show it here, you can check it out, it's on YouTube. And leadership. I'll jump into leadership. Our CEO, Eric Rondola, is such a strong believer of standardization, and he was really at the core of driving this. he believes strongly that standardization of your processes and rationalizing your IT drives, helps drive customer satisfaction and continuous improvement in a sustainable way. And not only him, but his whole leadership team really was on board with getting this right and getting this done. What we saw is that I showed you that our BPOs, our business process owners, they each own a part of the process framework. Each BPO is supported by what we call an executive business process owner, who is part of the leadership board. And even Eric Bonova, who is an executive business process owner of our leadership process, right? They go through the models, they go through the diagrams, they engage in getting it more simple, in getting it lean, in constantly thinking, how am I going to get those 34,000 people to adopt what we have here, to adhere to that? So they're very engaged. And I think that that's really a strong point. They also, in the beginning of June 2015, gave very clear guidance to us as a core team. They said, develop the process framework. Start with standards. Now, I said we had a head start because we inherited a process framework from Philips Royal. And that was a great framework. For lighting purposes, it was a bit over-engineered because Royal Philips has a big healthcare organization, so it all has to be FDA compliant, so it went very deep. And for lighting, we wanted to do more light. So we spent a lot of time based on that framework as a standard, but that standard was also based on APQC. The Process Framework Classification. APQC is the American Productivity and Quality Center in Houston, and they have done more than 20 years of research over almost 2,000 companies, continuously checking what does the process framework look like, what is the standard, what is it that everybody does, and why should you do anything differently, right? And using that really helps in your design and your deployment because it stops discussions on whether something belongs here or it belongs here in scoping. It helps to make sure that you're complete. And that really speeds up the design and the development of the framework. The second thing that he said was, I want you to deliver an integrated process framework up to level 5. Level 5 being the tasks. So the processes, we have the activities, we have the tasks. That's up to work instruction level. Did we apply it everywhere? No, because sometimes for certain processes you don't need to go that deep. But if you go into the robotics of it, of course you do, right? So especially to drive standardization and to find your variances. So it was a very good target. And we wanted it done by June 2016, which was too soon for us. So we didn't make that, but we made it by the end of 2016. That was good. Good is good enough. Very key. Drive, and completely in line with Agile. Drive. Don't go for the perfection. Set it up, put it out there, and your end users will help you with your continuous improvement. They will feedback if it's working or not. So drive that. Then the last one, and that also very much helped. Every month that core team had to report back to the board. So, and each of the executive business process owners were also on the board. So if one of the domains was lagging behind, it would be there. So there was a very good support and structure, top down, to drive that. The leadership support is broader than the process framework. It's really on our quality system in totality. It's at the heart of what we do at Philips. And it consists of our business system, which explains our values, our organization in market groups and business groups, and the quality policy, how we deliver customer satisfaction, and of course the quality system portal, the one portal that we bring out there. And it's almost a personal commitment. Our CEO and leadership really drives the core, saying, this is our quality system, and we need this to consistently provide products, systems, services in line with our customer requirements, to fulfill our brand promise, to make sure that we fill our regulatory compliance, right? So this is out there. This basically says, guys, it's there, you're responsible to look at it and use it. So we started off with a very small, empowered governance team, only 6 people. It was the head of quality and customer experience, which was my manager, myself as head of business process management, and the head of quality systems. And then we took on board our first 3 business process owners, one for idea to market, one for market order, and one for order to cash. So those three key BPOs, together with the supporting functions of the quality system, were the core governance team that actually drove the development and the vision and the change roadmap, the guiding principles for the design and the architecture, and really helped building the BPO organization and utilizing the continuous improvement organization and utilizing the quality organization, which was very strong already in our organization, so we really wanted to use that. How do we get to a process thinking organization? Again, we went back to ABQC, we did a lot of research in this area, and I don't want to spend too much time on this, but you know the functional organizations, the silos. The process thinking organization is the place where the targets and the budgets are still in the functions, but you wave the end-to-end processes through that, and you start connecting them, and you start breaking the silos. The highest part, according to the research, is a process-focused organization where you actually completely turn that model, and the budgets and targets are actually given to the business process owners from the end-to-end processes. We don't know if we want to go there, so we said, let's get to the process thinking organization first, let's help break the silos, let's make sure that we have a process organization that runs and maintains the model, that drives the continuous improvement, and we'll see after that. So, the third thing that we really had going for us was our one quality system. We had a very strong quality organization which already consisted of like 12 what we call total quality managers, which each represented a market group or business group, and about 800 quality related roles throughout the global organization. So we wanted those to be our first ambassadors, our first promoters. We also knew that in order to do that, we needed a one quality system portal that would act as a single source of reference. And we also knew that the tooling that we inherited wouldn't do that. We inherited a tool that felt like a Rolls Royce. It had too many features, it was too big, it was too loaded, it was a specialist tool, it was a tool that was there for specialists to discuss diagrams. And that didn't help us selling the story. So we wanted a tool that was more like a Volkswagen. It was maintainable, affordable, everybody likes seeing it. And that was focused on our end users. Of course, we wanted the specialist features as well, but we wanted something that we could bring to 34,000 people. So we wanted it to be user-friendly in terms of finding your content in 3 clicks. We wanted, when we were looking for a new tool, we wanted migration support from our old tool to our new tool. We didn't want to do everything again, right? We wanted to reduce our resources because the old tool needed 3 people to actually run and maintain the tool. The new tool does it with half a person. So all these kind of things we really wanted to get into place. And basically what it did, we worked together with QPR, which is the tool we chose in the end, and it really helped us to drive down the cost of the tool. It helped us drive down the content, the complexity. We migrated about 11,000 diagrams from our old tool, which was a whole mix of sidebox and diagrams, flowcharts. We ended up, after we transported everything and used the tool's features to clean it up, and make some architectural decisions, we ended up with 2,500 diagrams that we started with. It's almost an 80% reduction in complexity and in maintenance. So that gave us a good starting point to start validating them and developing them further and standardizing them. So what we ended up with, of course, there's the modeler portal. We made a very conscious decision to only have 30 modelers. Modeling processes is a profession. You want to drive the consistency, you want to train these people well. So we wanted to avoid that we had consultants coming in. We didn't want consultants coming in. We wanted our own people, a couple of them trained per business process domain, who could do the modeling, and we can make sure from a central perspective that everything stays connected correctly. Sorry, one more thing about the modeling portal. We also model our IT architecture in it. So we're now at a point where we link the IT architecture, the current roadmap and the future roadmap, to our process framework, and therefore kind of marrying the business process organization with the IT business analyst organization. And it has come to a point now where the IT business analysts actually say, you know, we're not going to develop or configure anything for you unless it's in your process. So those kind of discussions and efficiency things are going on, and it really helps with rationalizing our IT landscape. I have examples where, because we have the process framework, we start with 3 different systems for our risk and compliance management. Now going back to 1, because we all do the same thing, and it all comes out after you start doing these kind of exercises. Now the specialist portal, of course, most of you are here specialists and you want to dive into a process. Especially the continuous improvement guys. We want to see how does the process run. You want to make sure, as a business process owner, that your process is integrated correctly. Which IT systems are there? Which KPIs are there? How is it all connected? All those analyses can be done in the specialist tool. We have about 300 users of them. But the actual strength is that we have a separate end-user tool. And the end-user tool has access for 30,000 people who can online see what the latest and greatest version of each process and each document is that is related to that. We have 7,500 unique users in our process framework tool at this point, and every month about 120 pages and diagrams are hit. And that's still growing, so it's really used. That's how we measure the usage of it. Just to give you a very quick view on how that looks for an end user, you can see it's a fairly simple interface with 4 tabs. We have a model here. You have a training and instruction video here, which takes 3 minutes, which shows you how to navigate, how to find your documents, very basic user functions. We have a document tab which helps you to really find your documents really fast, and a very strong search engine. Now if I would click on, if I would click on, for instance, the idea to market, they come to a landing page. Again, not diagram. It's a landing page targeted for the ITM audience that they understand. It looks like a PowerPoint, and it helps to bring the content on a high level to the masses. It helps them to navigate to what they need, and they have additional information there about the ITM organization, some options to bring it to PowerPoint, because there's still a need for people to bring it to paper, unfortunately. Let's give it to them. It helps with the adoption. A very strong feature here is the feedback option. Can you see it? On the right, on the top right side. So whenever you're in a diagram, you drill down on it, you get into drawing diagrams or wherever, and you push the feedback button, it automatically generates an email that you can send to either a peer or to the process owner and say, hey, this is not working for me, or hey, look at this, how is this working? And it really starts, you basically get 30,000 critics. You get 30,000 people that actually help you to improve your process framework. Now, at this point we have our quality system ready, and we need to communicate.
Philips Lighting. We are now a standalone company. This brings us great opportunities to shape our own future and that of the lighting industry to meet the challenges of an increasingly digital and connected world. With our new purpose and distinct values for brighter lives and a better world. So, how can we all work together to deliver our potential as Philips Lighting? To support and enable how we all work in Philips Lighting to satisfy our customers, we recently launched our new quality system, incorporating our process framework. By standardizing our processes, we reduce complexity, drive innovation, and deliver a predictable and sustainable high performance to benefit our stakeholders. Customers will experience a more responsive, agile, and efficient performance. Shareholders will see improved competitiveness, more efficient investments, and continuous improvement. And you will enjoy constant access to all current ways of working to enable you to live quality in your daily work. Let's look at some examples from colleagues already working in the new quality system. In idea to market, from more than 10 new product development and launch processes to just one, in market to order. Less time spent on debating definitions or interpreting data. More time to focus on defining plans and actions to win the opportunities to turn into sales. In plan to finished goods. Starting from specific processes per factory, we arrived at 2 harmonized process archetypes covering all lighting factories. Now, it is time for you to learn more about our new quality system. So what's next? The simple training video on the homepage of our new quality system portal will help you get started. Dare to explore, then share your experience in the quality system community so we all learn from each other. In the coming months, our business process owners will continue to release improved standard processes in the quality system to drive performance and continuous improvement. From 44% at the Go Live in September 2016 to 100% through 2017, with increased focus on enabling processes such as finance, procurement, HR, and IT. The many local quality systems will gradually be phased out as we learn to work with our global standard processes. Please contact your business process experts if you want to learn about our new quality system. Philips Lighting, unlocking the extraordinary potential of light for brighter lives and a better world, where quality comes first and starts with me.
So, I hope you noticed 3 key elements in that movement. 1, the what's in it for me question, right? Really addressed to the employee. 2, the communication of successes that we've already booked. And 3, the call of action. Get into the system, look at it, use it, tell us what you think. And we really did not go for a big bang communication with this. We avoided that. Why? Because there's no use in telling 30,000 people, this is your new quality system, go look at it, if there's no content for that particular organization. For instance, warehouse in Kazakhstan, if they don't have the matching ERP system to match the standard process, there's nothing in there for them. But if an onboarding process of HR gets deployed worldwide, they will get introduced via this video or via an email or via whatever to the quality system, and they get instructed where to look, so it really becomes valid for them at that point, and they start using it with a certain need. So, looking back at our journey very briefly where we are, we created a sense of urgency. We set up in a very short time frame, we set up our practice, and then we focused on the deployment, and as you could see, we started with the buy-in and the quick wins and sharing that. Now it's up to deployment. And this is how many of our BPs feel when they start bringing the standards that people need to adhere to the markets. Because it's not developed with all markets, it's developed with pilots, but you also need to bring it to other countries, right? So, but I think one of our strengths is that we do that with all stakeholders together. Specifically, if you look at the the roles that we have, players. Of course, the process specialists are there. They design and they deploy the process together with the architect and bring it to the market. The IT specialists designing the systems, the business receiving it, the auditors, which play a very big part in our organization. We are ISO certified, and we have an internal audit pool that basically are BPOs and BPEs as well as our quality organization guys, and they go into about 150 audits a year. And at this point, they started focusing on the adherence of the deployed processes. Right? Is your quality system working? Are they adherent to it? So that also gives feedback. The quality specialists are there, and of course the continuous improvement specialists. Now, what you need to know about our continuous improvement specialists, we have a continuous improvement specialist practice, which is now part of our quality organization as well. And they have trained over the last 3 years about 60% of our total employee base to a minimum of a lean foundation level or a Six Sigma Lean Six Sigma foundation level. And then of course we have the green belts and the black belts, but they are all in the organization and are continuously driving continuous improvement. But what we did now that we have the framework, we started connecting them to the business process owners. So it became more coordinated, it became more in line with what the business issues were than previously. So this is how they all work together. Process specialists do the design and the deployment. Quality specialists are in the organization actually as promoters, promoting the quality system, the one source of reference. The business receives it, internal auditors check the adherence. Of course we have our metrics in place, not everywhere. It's a big struggle to get your metrics in place, as I'm sure you all know, but we're getting there. And this all gives feedback to our key players, who then bring it back to the business process experts, who then make sure that the new solutions and new designs and new standards are formalized into our process framework and move from there on out. So that kind of concludes it for me. The key success factors that I want to highlight here are leadership, strong leadership. Start with a small governance team. We changed our tooling and really went for a one quality system that really helped sell the message. It's a consistent message throughout the 2 years. And that really helps to land it in the organization. And working together now to drive the continuous improvement. We also had learnings. We started this up as a program. That brought us back into a dip once we have reached our publication target. It's not a program. It is a continuous drive for excellence. So it doesn't stop it. And so in your positioning, you need to be really clear. You made an error there. I should have paid more attention to the formalization of the roles. A lot of our BPOs and BPEs were part-time. So they have to really put that into in the right framework on top of their work. Now, what's next for us? I had a lot of inspiration in these last 2 days, especially when it comes to combining the excellence journey, which we're now able to do because all elements are now part of our quality organization, and actually drive it forward further with RPA and process mining, which I've talked to some of you about, which for me is the next step. And with that, I want to open it up for questions. Yes, please.
Thank you. You should see. Well, so you show how to interact the roles in your process management system. And who manage the modelers and who takes the global leadership. So I think it's process management department. Is it right?
Yeah, so there's no, the process management department that's there is me, that's René van Loon, our architect that's sitting right there, and the system administrator. It's 3 of us. We had more in the beginning to set it up, of course, but now we've been able to build it back to 3. The process modeling capacity, it's our obligation to train the modelers, but the business process owners are responsible to assign their modelers and to actually make sure that they say, hey, this is my modeler, train him, coach him. And that's a one-on-one training and coaching. We only have 30 of them, So we make sure that they understand what our conventions are, why these conventions are important, and we also control the change management loop. So we're really on top of that to keep the consistency with a team of 3. Yes, please, sir.
Could you explain a bit more on how you transferred responsibilities from the functional departments to the process responsibilities? You said something about budget. You were not very clear on that. How you do that? Because that's a very fundamental step, I think.
It's fundamental, it's also fluid. What I mean with that is that at this point the budgets and the targets are still formally with the functions and the business groups, so they're still functional. What we added to that is that we have now positioned our business process owners in such a way that they are part of that budget discussion, that they're part of the IT roadmap, and they work with the senior leadership who are on leadership level to determine what the targets are and what investments we're going to do in which systems. So that really helps to bring the process thinking into the functional organization, when you haven't transferred budget and targets formally. Any other questions? Sorry, one more. That sums it up all the time then, I think, right? Yeah.
Thank you for your presentation. I think standardization is a beautiful concept, but people from different perspectives in the organizations have different mindsets. Some are detail-driven, some like a general process. Do you see comments on the level of details in the process from your end users, and how you deal with this?
Yeah, absolutely. So, based on the feedback button, you know, that's kind of where the working together part comes. We have a great network of promoters in terms of our total quality managers who represent the business and the markets. They know what's going on there. They know how well a certain deployment has landed in that market, right? So the feedback from the end users, if they not come through the feedback button, they come through the total quality manager. Say, hey, this process is not working for me, or hey, I'm missing this process. So that feedback comes back, gets routed back to the business process expert. And he has a choice. He says, you're right, I'm going to change it, I'm going to fix my standard. Or he says, well, you know, that might work for you, but for the standard it doesn't work. We're not going to sub-optimize. In terms of acceptance, because I also heard in your question saying, well, you know, standards and not everybody has their own idea, or everybody has their own idea about it. Again, this is where leadership becomes very important. In several webcasts, our CEO, Eric Gondela, addressed this, the process framework and the standardization, and made it very clear. This is not optional. You don't have an option to do what's in this system. It is mandatory. And if you don't like it, we'll have a different discussion with you. So that really helps to drive the adherence. We are an innovative company, a lot of engineers. What you want to avoid, maybe that's the last key thing, what you want to avoid is that you tell these people, highly trained, experts in their own field, how to do their work. You don't detail it down to that level, you detail it down to the level where it makes sense. You don't tell a highly paid legal consultant how to do his work, right? You can stay up to a level 3 to just explain what he needs to do. As long as you don't cross that threshold, the level of acceptance is very high. All right, thank you very much for your attention.